Right. So today we are going to talk about an important aspect for business communication. What is the topic?
Email etiquettes.
Very good. Email etiquette. So this is the topic is very important and we should learn this topic and we should practice this topic for our future purposes. So whenever we are dealing with business communication, we should have a good idea about email etiquette. So
Right.
how email etiquette is going to help us? So what are the things we need to keep in mind? So whenever we are talking about email etiquette, so what are the points we need to keep in mind generally? That is what the concept we are going to discuss now. All right. First point, aim and objectives of email etiquette. First of all, tell me, what does it mean by email? What does it mean by email?
Electronic mail.
Verb, electronic mail. Any other answers do you have with you? What do you think about email? See, in the olden days, there was a custom, right? So at the time of kings, so how they used to communicate, for example, they want to send a message from one king to another king. How they used to send the messages?
Either
By
through
messenger. By
Message.
messenger.
any
Yeah.
human
So,
messenger or
Bird.
yes.
Bird messenger.
Yes, by using
pigeon.
words or
Pigeon,
messengers,
Pigeon,
pigeon, sir.
pigeons.
Pigeon, pigeon.
Pigeons.
pigeons, right? So yeah, even eagles also they use for this kind of messages, right? So that was the custom. A later period after the kings, what was the medium? Like our great grandparents,
Telegram, sir.
telegram, superb. Later,
Inland
Phone
letters.
call.
yes,
Phone call.
Postcard. Inlands.
postcards. Then after we habituated to talk, phones, right? Everything, all the developments we all know, right? So email is the latest version of those kind of messages formats. Of course, there are so many different social media. We can share our messages in the form of videos also, right? But still, email has been playing a vital role in business communication. In our professional life, email is also playing a vital role, right? It's a kind of electronic mail. Electronic mail, in the sense, generally, if you say a letter in the form of, I mean, in electronic way. If
Digital
you
way.
get a letter, but we are sending a letter through electronic media, right? So emails are such an essential form of communication in an organization, but how do we ensure that they do not lead to miscommunication? So this is a very important aspect. Of course, though there are a lot of different sources to communicate with others, but most of business organizations or most of business communications mostly based on or mostly rely on email writing, mostly rely on emails, right? So now the aim of this session is to, so what is the aim? Why we are discussing this concept? To provide you with the rules that should be followed when sending business email. So the first aim of email etiquette is to give you a clear idea about how to send. This session gives you tips for email etiquette, right? Next, help you create a better impression with your emails. And to show you that sloppily return emails waste time and money, right? So how to save your time and money. And next, demonstrate that for English spelling and grammar, descripts and you, right? So here we are going to observe how to use correct English and the necessity of correct English. the necessity of correct spellings, necessity of correct grammar rules, right? So in the form of emails, generally we use a written communication, right? The written form of communication we use. So whenever we are writing a written communication, that's why I said earlier classes, in our previous classes, whenever we are speaking, sometimes you may have the opportunity to take your word back. But when it is a written word, we should be very careful. We should be careful, and the written word will be our evidence. It will be the evidence for our mistakes. It's going to be the primary evidence. So whenever we are writing emails, not only the emails, whenever we are writing anything, we should put more efforts. Right, objective. By the end of this session, you will be able to write an effective business email. All right. So without wasting any time, let's jump into the topic. Why do you need email etiquette? What is the need of emails? Right. So you just give me what are the areas we are using these emails in our day-to-day life. So you just give me a few examples when we are using, why we are using. So what are the areas, what are the fields we are using emails? You just give me one or two names, one by one.
Business, job,
Business, job. Any other areas?
Reporting.
In bank,
Report, super banks. All right.
in our art of living.
Yes, in our art of living. Right. So here, let me ask you one question. Can you find any job which is not related with email?
no,
We can't find, right? So we can easily understand the importance of email etiquette. Email etiquette is very important aspect for our day-to-day life. Of course, it might be the professional life, though it is our professional life. Without knowing emails, without emails in our life, mostly our business communication, it's not complete. It doesn't complete without emails, right? Now, a company needs to implement etiquette or rules for the following three reasons. Why do we need email etiquette? Right? So these are the three rules we need to keep in mind. These are the three reasons we need to keep in mind. So first one, professionalism. Professionalism. By using proper email language, your company will convey a professional image. Right? Why we are using email? Because if you send any improper or which is not so good, automatically it will damage the image of your organization, right? To keep up your image, to improve your business, we need professional emails, right? So we need to write proper language, proper email language, which can give more respect and which can bring a lot of business to our organization. That is what the meaning of professionalism. We should use professional language. So if you talk about any different company, for example, if you're talking about pharmaceuticals, so pharmaceuticals language is different from other industries, right? Software industry, even the software industry language is different from hardware industry, right? So manufacturers language different from the service centers. For every company, for every organization, for every industry, they'll have their own terms and conditions, they'll have their own vocabulary, right? So we should use professional words, proper words. That's nothing but function words. Okay, we should use function words. Next, second point, second thing we need to keep in mind, efficiency. Efficiency. Emails that get to the point are much more effective than poorly worded emails. The words emails that get to the point are much more effective than poorly worded emails. Okay, so if you write proper emails, then automatically it can do the best and it can give you the best results rather than your words. Okay, if you use proper words, if you write proper email, automatically the benefits will be more than the words. Of course, words are very important, but when compared with the words, if you write proper email, then automatically it will give you a lot of benefits. Next, protection from liability. All right. So nowadays we all know that how society has been in different, has been in dangerous situations in terms of safety, right? So mostly, for example, if you talk about bank, right? Sending the documents, hard copies. If you send the hard copies of documents from one place to another place, there must be any problem. There might be some problems. But if you send email, mostly the hackers can do anything, but others can be able to do. Even for hackers also, if you follow some safety measures, that also we can avoid it. Right? So it's a good idea to rely on emails rather than sending the documents hard copies. Correct? So it will give you a lot of protection, a lot of safety for your identity or for your data, whatever the data we are discussing. Right? So these are the 3 points, 3 components we need to keep in mind while we are writing emails. What are the 3 points? Professionalism, efficiency, and then protection. Right? Protection is nothing but safety. Next, do's and don'ts of emails. What we should do while we are writing emails. What we shouldn't do while we are writing emails. So we should discuss the pros and cons of writing emails. First, do's. So these are the areas we need to keep in mind, and these are the areas we should follow while writing emails. So be concise and to the point. So whenever we are writing the emails, we should be concise. We should write sweet and short. We should write sweet and short. So if it is general conversation, if it is general talk, we may speak more. But when it comes to the professional email, business email, in that case, we should write sweet and short. It should talk about the point. If you give unnecessary information in that email, what happens? The actual essence, the actual point may be overlooked. There might be a chance of overlooked, right? So we should clear, and it should be sweet and short in the sense it should be short and clear enough to the next person, the person who received our mail. It should denote the actual point. What is the purpose of that mail? Right? Next, answer all questions and preempt further questions. So whenever we are receiving a mail or whenever we are writing a mail, if we get any questions, if we get any queries, we should be able to give all the answers. If you do not answer all the questions first time, you will receive further mails. Okay, so this is our responsibility to answer all the questions. For example, if a company is asking for some data, if you send one question answer, and if you forgot the next question or some other question, and you send the mail, again they will send you the mail. Again, you need to answer. So it will be like a little bit embarrassing situation. In that case, to avoid all those things, what we need to do is we need to write all the answers to give clear information. Right?
Right.
Next, answer
Okay.
answer swiftly. So customers send an emails because they wish to receive a quick response. Right? So whenever you are receiving a mail from the customer in the sense, obviously they expect a better and fast response, from the service center. So in that case, what we need to do is, whenever we receive a mail, we should respond as fast as you can. The best idea is, whatever the date you received the mail, by the end of the day, we should respond. We should give reply to that person. For example, you received a complaint against a product from the customer, right? You can be able to solve that problem in one day, of course. Everyone knows that. But at least we should acknowledge them that we received a complaint from the customer. Yes, we received a complaint from you on so and so issue. Now we are in the process to solve your problem. Please bear us for the time, whatever the time you are expecting, whatever the time you are seeking to solve that problem. You just mentioned it. Then it shows that you are very interested in the customers and you are serving, you are providing good service, right? So it's just a matter of one mail, but it shows a lot of difference in thought process of clients, customers. Okay, so if you acknowledge the emails, then automatically they'll be able to understand that your company is very so serious about customer satisfaction, right? And sometimes what happens, we will send some mails, right? Some companies, they don't respond, they don't give any acknowledgement. In that case, how do we feel? Of course, we all know that whether the mail sent or not, we'll be able to understand that easily. But the next problem is we can't be able to understand whether they have seen the mail or not. The mail will deliver to them, no doubt about it. But we can't be able to understand whether they have gone through the mail or not, whether they skipped the mail or not, whether they are doing, whether they are working on our mail or not. So we don't get any information if they don't respond. So it's nice. It's not a good idea. So what we should do is, we need to answer as fast as we can. Once we receive the mail, if though you are not able to give the solution on the same day, it's not at all a problem, but we should respond to them that you received the mail. Then they may feel very happy about your organization. This is what called customer satisfaction, right? Use templates for frequently used responses. Right, while writing the mails, you have a lot of opportunities. You can use templates. You can use all these whatever the data. For example, if you are sending the same kind of messages, you can save it and you can copy and paste it on your mail. Right. So try to use templates for frequently used responses. Every time you don't need to type and send. Right. Every time if you are typing and sending, it may take some extra time. And sometimes you may overlook some words, right? So sometimes the data may change, right? For frequent messages, for example, for acknowledgement of mail, right? For acknowledgement of mail. So what you can send, you can use a template that we received a message from you, and we are happy to inform you that simply we can say we are happy to inform you that we received a complaint from you. You don't need to mention, you don't need to disclose that what is the complaint, right? So of course it's a template message, but how the customer feels, he feels very happy because he received a response from the client. He received a response from the customer care. That is the way the email plays a vital role in our day-to-day life. Now, use proper structure and layout. So, as I said just before, email is nothing but it's a form of, it's a kind of letter, correct? So, here also, while we are preparing or while we are drafting a letter, while we are writing a letter, no doubt we should follow some proper alignment. Similar way, while we are writing an email, we should follow the same structure and layout. We should follow proper structure and layout. It's a good idea to use proper structure and layout. If you don't follow the proper structure and layout, automatically it shows that how interested you are, how organized, whether you are well organized or not, they can easily understand by the email, right? Next, keep your language gender neutral. We should never use he, she, he, like that. So we don't need to mention the gender. We don't need to refer the genders. Simply we can use neutral language, neutral gender language. For example, you don't need to say I, Pramod, Kumar, she, he, like that. We don't need to mention. Simply we. Or you can say simply I. Right? Instead of using I, it's a good idea. If you are working for any company, it's a good idea to use we rather than I. First person singular is, it's a good idea to use first person plural rather than first person singular. Right? So avoid using gender specific language such as the user should add a signature to his emails. If you don't know the gender, right, in that case it will be a problem. So it's a good idea. Simple. For example, if you need to add a signature, don't need to mention whose signature it might be. So just mention signature. Signature. Easy. Right? And take care with abbreviations and emoticons. So we should be careful with emoticons. Every emoticon has its own meaning, right? Abbreviations, even abbreviations also. So most of the people, what they used to do is they simply send their abbreviations. But we should know that one point, we should keep in mind one particular point, that of course you know that language. Of course you might be know all the abbreviations, but you can't predict that whether your receiver knows that or not. Correct? So whenever you are sending any abbreviations, it's a good idea to send it in full form. Right? So if you want to send abbreviations, try to use the abbreviation along with, within the brackets, you can send the full form of that abbreviation. Right? So it's a good idea. We should not send abbreviations alone. There is a problem. If you send abbreviations directly, if they don't know that, they can't be able to understand it. If they don't understand automatically, they can't be able to respond to that. Correct? So we should send the abbreviations which can be understandable to all the people. Right?
Right. Right.
Good.
Sir, but in the salutation, can we write dear sir oblique madam?
Why we are bothering that much? Dear, simply. Dear is acceptable or respected.
Respected sir or madam? No.
No need. Respected
Okay.
simply. Respected,
Okay.
comma, that's it. Dear, comma, that's it. That is
It's
called
new thing to me.
neutral language. See,
Yes, sir. That's nice.
instead of sending respected sir or madam,
Mm-hmm.
simply we can say dear.
Yes.
Then you can give the introduction, who you are, what you are. Then you can give your purpose of email. Then you can mention your expectations or whatever the reason why you are sending that mail. Everything you can mention.
Yes.
So instead of sending hi sir, hello sir, dear sir, like that.
Yes.
So it may lead, sometimes it may lead because we can be able to know whether the same person who mails, this is one more problem with the mails, right? So for example, by looking at the mail ID, we may feel that that is a mail, but they may, for example, if some lady, instead of sending her mail, if she created a mail on her husband's name, then automatically it will.
It's really a nice idea. I will implement it now onwards. So it is great confusion for me many times.
Yes, yes. While sending the
Thank
mail,
you.
simply we can send neutral language.
Right.
All right. And next. Read your email before you send it. Proofreading. This is nothing but proofreading. So once you write a mail, it's a mandatory thing. At least we should go through twice, minimum twice, because as I said just before, a written format means it is going to be the evidence. It will be the primary evidence for our mistakes. Okay. So that is why we should check every word, spelling, pronunciation. I mean, pronunciation in the sense, it doesn't mean that we are not going to pronounce that, right? Spelling and correct sentence formation, grammatical structures, everything we should observe. We should check before sending the mail. Once you have gone through the mail, right? If you ask me what is the best way to send the mails, before typing the message, try to write down whatever you want to send the message. Just do a proofread on this. Then type the message, same message. Then once again proofread on that, right? Then if there are any necessary modifications, do that. And again, once again, go through all the mail and just check it out. Finally, you can send the mail, right? So this is a good way to send a message, send a mail, right? A proofread should be done before sending the mails. Use proper spellings, grammar, punctuation, everything. We should use proper spelling, grammar, and punctuation, right? And use spell check. It's a good idea to spell check before sending the mails. And use proper signature. Whenever we are sending a mail, we should use proper signature, right? Use a meaningful subject and use active instead of passive. So use a meaningful subject. So whenever we are using, we should use a meaningful subject. Whenever you are writing a mail, we should send the subject. Without the subject, we should never send a mail. It's not professional way sending a mail without a subject, right? So we should send a mail with proper subject, and we should use active voice rather than passive voice. So passive voice mostly we should avoid. We should avoid passive voice. Okay. So far, is it clear?